If approaching women is uncomfy for you, that means that there's something within yourself that needs to be healed. Sometimes it feels like literally you'd rather do anything else but go up to a pretty girl and say hello. You're like, no, I don't want to get rejected. I don't want to go say hi to her. Something in your past made you have this irrational fear. It's not really you. So what's so cool is if you just go down to the root cause of what's making you anxious or having that fear about approaching women, then you just don't have it anymore. And then you're like, wait, it's actually just easy. I don't actually need to try hard. So if you want to get into this even deeper, check out my course, Embodied High Value. That has every single dating scenario laid out for you, like very common ones, and how to actually go into each one so you don't have them anymore. Anyways, I love you so much.
Already gave you the time and the place, so don't be shy. Just come be the man I need. Tell me you got something to give. I want
a man with a plan.
I think we all know what he's doing, but we can't prove it until it's too late. Setting up his backup plan right under her nose, right next door.
It's genius.
The man doesn't even need to add a new Wi-Fi to his device in his next relationship. Check back in 6 months. If him and his girl don't work out, guess what? He'll be right there in the same apartment.
Using the same dishes.
A man who can see the long game, a man who has long-term vision such as this, is destined to build a championship program. How can he not succeed when he's always looking so far into the future, years in advance?
The man is playing offense and defense at the same time.
And you want to know the worst part? The comments under this video were giving him praise. He's going undetected. Sometimes you see such mastery, such poetry in motion, and there's nothing you can do about it. You are left with effectively no choice
but to say bravo.
If single men aren't showing up to your events, if not even the desperate guys are showing up to your events, then maybe it's time to start asking questions about why men don't want to be around modern women. What are we doing that's making a man not want to be around us? What's going on, fellas? Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment down below. Let's get back to the video.
You want to know why men over 40 don't date? I'll tell you why. It's because society raised women to commit to careers, shopping, and hot girl summers, not husbands. And now the men who were once ignored, rejected, and overlooked are watching rebellion backfire and choosing peace over problems. Let's get one thing straight. This ain't about men being better. This ain't about men being weak. This is about men getting wise, men protecting their peace, and men finally realizing what marriage really costs when you choose a woman who ain't built for order, purpose, or submission. And if you're one of those women ready to say, well, maybe he just can't handle a strong woman, sit tight. Because the truth is, he didn't lose interest in you. He gained clarity. The first reason, here's the part women can't stand. Men are realizing their peace is more valuable than your presence. I'm gonna say that again. Men are realizing their peace is more valuable than your presence. So why invite chaos into a house that's already quiet, clean, and under control? A man with structure doesn't chase drama just because he's lonely. He protects his peace like it's gold.
You know, and another thing that we need to talk about is how modern women's bad attitude, their inconsistency, their up and down, their moodiness really, affects a relationship. The fact that I don't know what I'm going to do, the fact that when I come home, I don't know what's going to happen. That's why you see a lot of men sitting out in the car. I don't know what you're going to say. I don't know what you're going to. Why are you sitting out in the car? Because I'm trying to get a little rest. I don't know what attitude you're going to have today.
Most men are checked out, don't care about women anymore. Woman says guys don't approach today. Kevin Samuels been trying to warn these ladies, things is about to change and men are going to adapt to the new climate and culture that they have created for themselves.
Since men don't approach women anymore, I guess I should start going up to men. I live in a city and literally anytime I'm walking anywhere, anytime I see a cute guy, it's always heads down, headphones in, he won't look at anyone. Literally no one is approachable anymore. No one looks at each other. Everyone's heads down and no one's smiling or just seems happy. Literally no one's socializing. What am I supposed to do? Chase a guy down the street that does not want to be bothered and ask him if he is single? Literally never once. I've never been approached.
That young lady in the video, and we going to get back to the video. That young lady in the video is saying that she was a cute girl. She smiles and all the people have their head down. Their eyes are not on anything because they're on that phone. Just looking around, and everybody got their head down.
I was in the mall. I was in a mall not long ago, and a guy that knew me from Instagram messaged me and was like, "Hey, I just seen you in the mall." And I was like, "Why didn't you come up and say hi?" He didn't say hi in person, but he did in the DM. And I was like, "Okay, well, next time you see me, come and say hello." Like that. That's how crazy it is now. A lot of I don't know if they're scared or if it's just not the way it's done anymore.
So now it's just like, we ain't dealing with y'all. We just off y'all.
You didn't see them calling. They was calling the game gay for shooting a shot.
They're doing it because they don't fuck with y'all because y'all always on some shit. And the Me Too movement and y'all standards and ideas and asking for too much and transactional and high body count is because women have pushed men out so far and they're adapting to the data market as is and refusing to approach.
These modern women don't understand that there have been times in the past that you do something, a man will help you. But now a man is starting to realize you need to take accountability. There has to be consequences for your actions. I'm no longer a fixer. That's your choice. You handle that. And then you come back to the relationship and we'll talk about it. But a lot of modern women, they want a man to just cover everything. Absolutely not.
I respect your perspective, but I see
let me tell you
it the
why.
other way. 100%.
Let me tell you why. The reason why women have more ego nowadays is because an 18-year-old girl get on Instagram and have an NBA player DM her. 18-year-old guy, nobody gives a f. Nobody cares. So, here's the perfect example. The guy that you just called, right? The guy, you denied him, didn't you? Why'd you deny him?
I don't know. I just see him as a friend.
Okay, but why do you see him as a friend? Why is he, I want you to think, why is he not a suitable candidate for you?
I don't know. Recently I've been just, disgusted with guys. Just because they're such... because I see them as so egotistical.
Yeah, but just
Would it be fair to say that you're the one with the ego since you're denying them all?
Yeah. Maybe
Yeah.
I have higher standards. Yeah, maybe.
You want me to prove that every woman on this show has a huge ego? In your minds right now, all of you women think, oh, it's optional, Fresh, Myron, Zerka. Yeah, they're cool. Maybe I could date them. It's optional. But in reality, if we just look at on paper, in reality, not just paper, us three are 1,000 leagues above you girls. And I'm saying I'm saying that in a respectful way. The ego doesn't allow you guys to see that.
A lot of women got the misconception that men want a partnership that you have to go home and negotiate with and say, baby, this is what I'm thinking. What are you thinking?
Oh, no.
No, men, if you're going to give us the responsibility of being the man, if I come home and say something that you don't agree with, that don't mean we about to talk about
Message.
I've been out here and I see that you might not have seen. And I'm saying at this house, to protect us from that I saw, this how we gonna do this. If you don't agree, we can talk about it after the fact, but this what needs to happen.
This is what you have.
That's the type that turns women. Women don't want to see black men have authority, and that's the struggle.
You ain't lying.
Black men don't have authority.
But a lot of times they don't know because you think like that. But a lot of don't know how to lead. They don't know how to run a household.
See, that's what I just said.
God, you can't make this shit up. Oh, but they don't know how.
So you think women always got a rebuttal?
Yes. You understand that it's like
we
rebuttal. Don't know how to lead. Well, what are they doing then?
Being
You talking about you had a bad interaction with it. You gonna wipe that on all the other?
I sentence you to 500 lashes.
A woman can say, well, I want a man to do this, X, Y, and Z. So the man does all of that. He does everything that you're asking him to do. Well, maybe not everything because, who does everything, right? Not a lot of people. But he's doing a lot of the stuff that you ask him to do. And you return the favor by doing darn near nothing, next to nothing. That's how you return the favor. Next to nothing. You're not getting anything. I'm not thinking about you. You can't give me a kiss on the cheek. Nothing. Now, with that being said, you tell me, what about that? would be appealing to a man. And we can wait.
The reason nice guys finish last winds up being true. It's not that they don't want to be treated with respect and kindness. It's that they want a guy who has options, who has a little bit of an edge, who is the man of the house, who is masculine, who doesn't take their crap. They want that guy who's got his shit together, the guy that they know, if a woman knows that if you break up with her or she breaks up with you, that you're going to have somebody the next day if you wanted to, if she knows that about you, she's going to be wanting to keep you way more. That's going to be a huge source of attraction for her.
Woman goes viral for saying men are no longer persuasive with women. They ask you out on a date, you say no, that's it. Man, it's 2026. You better be glad that man even asked you out. Most men, myself included, half the time don't even want to ask a woman out because 9 times out of 10, that man has to not only worry about being turned down, he has to worry about being made fun of. He has to worry about being ridiculed. He has to worry about being aired out on social media or to make you think that you're better than him for even asking you out. The art of chivalry and the chase is in most women. Not all women. There's some amazing women out there still, but now they're so few and far between. Most men don't even want to take the time to look for one. And y'all want to always complain, oh, men don't want to be persuasive. Men don't want to court me. Men don't want to cater to me. For what? For you to turn him down because he doesn't make 6 figures, or he's not over 6 foot tall, or both, or, he doesn't want to spend the bag on you on a first date. Like, the list goes on and on. But these are the same women that want to complain that these men don't even want to try to ask them out. But that same man who does, you say no, and you're mad that he just says, all right, cool, thank you. Like, when does it end? Make this make sense, you feel me?
I think a lot of modern women are so short-sighted that they don't really understand that the person who they are, who they're proud of, is actually going to hold them back. And I know you like the spirit. I fought through this and I've gone through that, and it made me the person that I am today. And so they feel like in a lot of situations, in a lot of cases, well, I had to fight through some stuff to build myself up to this person. And men will appreciate that about me. And so they'll say, oh yeah, she's a fighter. I love her. But that's not the way it goes, because that fight and that disrespect turns to him. There's nothing wrong with you challenging and trying to help him out. But a lot of times modern women are downright disrespectful.
Girls are not that hard to impress. You are just not impressive. Here are 5 things that men do that turn women on, and most of you do not qualify. Number 1 is be decisive. If you're asking, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? Every 5 minutes, that's why she's bored. Pick something. Lead. It's really not that hard. Oh, you want to go on a date with me? Then plan a date. I remember I matched with this guy on Cuffed, and he literally messaged me being like, hey, I really want to go to this place at 7 o'clock. Do you want to come? I almost fainted. A man making a plan for the first time? Yes, please. Number 2 is having a life outside of the girl. The most attractive men are not waiting around every single day waiting for a girl to respond to them. They're busy. That's why girls chase them. Number 3 is staying calm instead of being emotional. You're supposed to be a man, not a crybaby. The second you start overreacting, getting jealous, getting mad, yeah, attraction, gone. Be like a man, not like a giant mood swing. Number 4 is being protective, not possessive. If another man is getting all up in her face and you're just standing there watching, yeah, that's noted. We should be able to grab your arm and feel safe and protected and be taken care of. Also, if you're jealous for no reason, also a turn off. Be a little confident, why don't you? Number 5 is making her feel replaceable but choosing her anyways. Now this is gonna hurt some feelings. The man knows he has options but still picks you. That's the one the girls always want, they always go for, they always chase. If no one wants you, clearly it's for a reason. And no, it's not toxic, it's called standards. A lot of men think that women want perfect. No, we don't want perfect. We know you're not gonna be perfect. Nobody's perfect. We just want a man who we can respect and who respects us.
Emotional labor it's kind of like a seesaw, in the way that, modern women continue to say that I have more of the emotional labor, but it's really the man that is holding most of that weight. And a woman is sitting up there at the top screaming, oh, you ain't doing nothing. But a man is sitting down at the bottom, is like, okay, jump, do something, add weight to your side. And it's either see or saw. And I got both of them. It's just me doing the work. That's what the man is saying. It's like, whatever side I get on, that's the side that's held down. That's the side that is weighted down. It's no fun for me because I always got to bring the weight. I always got to bring the muscle. I always got to bring the strength.
I get a lot of comments from typically women telling me that I probably have low standards and I'm treated like garbage every relationship that I'm in, which really couldn't be further from the truth. Just because I don't demand flowers or for him to open the door for me, and just because I'm understanding of maybe his mistakes or him having flaws, you know, like a human, doesn't mean he takes advantage of that, treats me badly as a result. There are some women out there who spread really toxic advice, encouraging you to constantly use your partner, play these weird head games, or straight up demand what you want out of the relationship. And that's not really how you get what you want. Having reasonable expectations get you that type of partner you want sooner than having these weird requirements and assuming you know everything about him from one tiny interaction. Like, you know, if he doesn't pay for the whole first date or something, doesn't make him a bad guy. The thing is, men are pretty simple. If you're reasonable, you're upfront and kind about what you want, you don't objectify him based on his income, his height, or any other silly superficial thing, you show that you're genuinely interested in him as a person, then you'll get a lot further in your relationships, and that man will want to do anything he can to keep you. Relationships will always be give and take, and you shouldn't be sitting there keeping track. Relationships aren't supposed to be heavily transactional, and that's where a lot of this dating advice goes wrong.
You also have to look at the fact that a man is not lonely. He might be alone, but he's alone on purpose. And I think that's one of the things that a lot of people miss, a lot of modern women miss, is that, oh man, the male loneliness epidemic. It's the male peace epidemic. I don't doubt that there are some guys out there that are, struggling with mental health. You know, we have rates of unaliving. So we have to look at those and take those seriously, right? But we also have to stop and say, hold on. You guys think it, basically you're saying it's because men are bad people that this has happened to them. Instead of actually listening to what men are saying, well, maybe, yes, I have some things to improve on, but maybe, just maybe, society is beating me down.
Wait, help me.
You can get up yourself. Oh my God, miss, are you okay? Let me help you.
Oh my gosh. Thank you. You're such a good guy.
Would you like to go out sometime? Babe, let's go.
Hey, I saw what you did. She missed out on a really good guy.
Really?
Yeah.
Hey, you too.
Let the sky fall when it crumbles. We will stand tall.
They say as a man you should always get a high-paying job so that you can potentially take care of a family. But you should also make sure you have enough spare time to spend with your spouse so that they don't get lonely. If you're a father, you need to be there for and support your children. But don't try to guide them or structure them or especially discipline them in any way, or you're expected to be masculine in order to be attractive. But you should also get in touch with your sensitive side. But not enough to cry, because that makes you look weak. Women are allowed to hit you, but you should never hit them back. If you even want the chance of having a woman, be prepared to take her out to a fancy dinner in a fancy car and get her flowers and drinks and all of that. But don't expect or ask for anything in return, because then you're pushy. Remember, you have to dote on the girl in every possible way. But in the end, it's her decision as to whether or not all of your time and energy was worth her giving you anything in return. And if she leaves you after a 6-year-long relationship, remember, she's just doing what's best for her. But if you leave her after 6 years, you're a scumbag who obviously never cared. Make sure you're intelligent or women are going to look down on you. But women are always right, so they're going to look down on you anyway. Plus, if you're really smart, they're going to see you as arrogant. And be confident, because confidence is sexy. But don't be cocky. Sleep with too many women and you're just a man whore who's afraid of commitment. But don't sleep with enough women and you're less desirable because of your inexperience.
Furthermore, high-value men aren't timid about seeking what they desire. Waiting passively doesn't fit their style. It leads only to frustration and struggles with women. Being passive might be a woman's approach, but a high-value man actively pursues his interests. Moreover, high-value men understand the importance of being comfortable alone. Many men jump from one relationship to another because they fear solitude, which is pathetic. High-value men know they are complete without a partner, and this self-assurance is highly attractive to women. They pursue only the best, ignoring others, and they don't entertain trivial disputes or arguments. If a woman starts irrational conflicts, a high-value man will disengage, signaling that her behavior is unacceptable without repercussions. High-value men are direct and straightforward. They prefer honest rejection over wasting time in manipulative interactions. If a woman plays games, she finds herself ignored or dismissed. She quickly learns that to attract his attention, she must exhibit her best behavior, as he knows what he wants and won't hesitate to replace her if she wastes his time. And remember, high-value men don't alter their schedules for a woman. Showing that your life doesn't revolve solely around her makes you more appealing and teaches her that gaining your attention requires effort. Finally, high-value men recognize their attractiveness and worth. They don't idolize women or view them as superior beings. This mindset allows them to interact with women effortlessly. Unlike most men who become nervous around attractive women, mindset is indeed everything. Believing you're at the top of the dating hierarchy influences how you conduct yourself. If you're strong in all life areas, it's challenging to be overly impressed by anyone. By the way, if you aim to elevate your life, don't forget to show some love by liking and subscribing. Until next time.
Men love deep. Women are long-suffering. Women don't know that men love deep. And that is why, and what women don't recognize is that men are actually more loyal than women are. We exhibit this in our purchasing behavior. A woman will purchase, even if the hair product that she bought worked beautifully for her, she can't help it but to try another beauty product. If a man finds a body soap that works for him, he is going to have that body for the next 20 years. Yeah. Very loyal, very consistent. It's not that men don't have the capacity to do so. Of course, there's conditioning and social, inferences and learnings that we need. But the point is that it's possible. It is there. We just don't recognize it. So because men are stoic and because men say things like we want respect, we believe, first off, women don't even know what that means tangibly. What respect, what does that look like? And second of all, men actually crave emotional intimacy and connection. But public facing will say respect. But when you really begin to break down respect, there's an emotional tension, connection to that, right? There's this, he disrespected me, your feelings are hurt. You feel hurt. But we don't want to say that, so we'll say respect. So it becomes nuanced for a woman. You're not going to get respect from her because she doesn't understand that there's an emotional connection and intimacy. But if you speak in her language and say emotional intimacy and connection, you will feel respected. You understand?
So men have sexualized women 24/7 since forever, but the second that we started profiting off of it and made a successful business, now we're the problem. Okay.
A lot of the women that come to my platform want high value, high earning, masculine men. You cannot be a hoe. Number one, you cannot dress a certain way. That's another thing. Women try to say, oh, he's controlling me because he doesn't want me to wear XYZ. No, you should respect that man enough not to put him in danger, realistically speaking, because if you're too sexy and another man steps you, now he's gotta say something. And if he doesn't say something, now he's not a man. You don't want no high value masculine man because now you're putting him in danger, and that's a problem. Girls are twisted out here. It's delusion. It's giving delusion.
The Lululemon.
Yes.
I'm with you.
He said, I'm never gonna dance again. Guilty feet have got no rhythm. Though it's easy to pretend, I know you're not a fool. I should have known better than to cheat a friend and waste the chance that I've been given. So I'm never gonna dance again the way I dance with you. He said, girl, without you, my feet don't work. The men are not yearning anymore.
Be real with me.
Women have become so empowered that men feel useless.
Real. Why?
Women are tired of being in their masculine and they're tired of men being useless. They want gender roles to kind of be a thing again. We don't need to be looked after, but we just want the option. They want men who are very secure and ready to step up, who are willing to be like, I'm capable and I want to show you.
Why do you think that started happening?
It kind of comes from like female empowerment, which is great. But like I think too much of it has made women so independent that they're not willing to let someone in and help them.
I think equality is good. Crazy take. Women and men have different needs. Men want to feel useful and women want to feel loved and cared for. What happened was gender roles started getting diluted. Men started becoming more feminized.
I think there's a polarity of things. Like men can also reside in their feminine and then like women will balance them out. Feminine and masculine energies exist within everyone. Where things get thrown off is when someone's too in their feminine or too in their masculine, because then that's also where toxic masculinity comes in.
Yeah. Toxic masculinity is when you view the world through extreme gender norms where like you view women as objects to be conquered and you think of everything through, I need to be big, strong man. What is healthy masculinity?
Still having like drive and purpose, wanting to be a provider, being able to let women in to help you with your emotional side. Where women can help balance them out is where they can set up the roadblocks for emotional conversations.
Why do you think it's a problem when women aren't in their feminine and men aren't in their masculine?
Women are just so tired of being in their masculine and being super independent and doing all this stuff for themselves. They kind of want someone to be an option to help take care of them.
What's your name?
Maya.
Preston, nice to meet you.
Scream? I don't hear anything. Are you screaming? Ah! Am I the worst? Is this helping? Yeah. Wait.
Did you do it?
Yeah.
No, you did not.
Did you hear me?
I didn't even hear you.
You didn't hear me?
No. No one heard you.
Okay.
No one heard you.
Wait, okay, in that case, the shed would be worth it.
You can't tell a woman to lower her expectations, but the reality is, what I've seen on dating apps is that all of the women want the same few guys and they shut out the rest.
Yeah. Okay. So there's a few things I'll respond to there. So one, going back to the income graph, I want to just call out that yes, right now in a few urban markets, women are making more than men. So women in DC and New York under 30 are making more than men on average, but in most situations, men are still making more than women, but we're talking about a projection. Going back to the dating research. So yes, it's exactly as you described. What we have right now is there's fewer and fewer men that are hypergamous mates for women. So if there's a much smaller pool of guys, then what you have is you have a bunch of women competing for the same men, and then a bunch of guys get ignored. But what I also see is that those top guys are having a hard time deciding. So I feel like in my coaching practice as a dating coach, I'm working with a lot of women who say, what do I do? I've changed my profile the way you said I should. I took your class, but I still feel like there's just not enough great guys. And then I work with these CEO men who are having such a hard time choosing. And so I think we really have this exacerbated problem where so many women are competing for the same men, and then a bunch of guys are getting ignored. And then what ends up happening is, where do those guys go? And they go online. They go to porn or they go to Reddit. I mean, I love Reddit, but they're really going to some of these red-pilled communities. And so what you're seeing now is just men really opting out of society. So when you go back to that stat, 1 in 7 young men in the UK is NEET, not an employment, education, or training. They have just opted out.
Zero shade, but why don't men ask women out anymore? Like, the guys that I'm meeting, matching with on Hinge and everything else, they're pen-paling me. Like, asking me the most absurd questions that I know they don't care the answer to. But, like, why don't you just ask me to hang out, and then we'll see if we actually have chemistry and go from there? Why are you asking me what I did today, and then not planning a date? Please, a straight man in the comments, answer. I'm so frustrated. I don't know what to do. Help.
I just seen a video of this lady saying that men don't yearn no more because women be yearning more than the men now. And she was talking about like how men be posting their videos and everybody, all the girls be in the comments barking. And you know what? I knew right then and there to just shut the up, because I be in them comments too. I be like, can I pet the, oh, don't let it be a cue. I be in their comments like, can I pet that dog? Can I pet that dog? I be barking it up in their comments. Ooh. Don't let it be D'Angelo. It get out of hand about that one. It get out of hand about See, this is why certain conversations I exit out of immediately.
I don't want to get married again, no.
How do you feel about marriage now?
I ain't gonna hold you. I ain't marrying nobody my age.
So they would have to be older?
Yes, please give me older. Yes, older.
And why older?
I ain't gotta deal with the you understand? To me, older men are set in their ways, right? And older men come from a time where they took care of their women. I'm not saying, I am not saying that younger men do not do that, right? But older men come from a tradition of respect and everything for their lady. You understand?
Chivalry in the modern age is just evolved. True.
I think it's evolved, but in the wrong direction. There is this rise of men who suddenly want to be princessed and pampered.
Yeah, I agree with pampering, but I think they should be given equally.
Women do a lot of pampering, they just don't make such a big deal about it. The pendulum appears to have swung towards almost like a men's rights movement. How is it fair for women to expect all these things from us? And I want flowers too. Like, yes, that is being redefined. But as long as they're not using it to weaponize their own incompetence, when it comes to serving and cherishing and celebrating, like, there is something really beautiful about femininity.
You're saying there's nothing beautiful about men?
I'm not saying that men aren't beautiful.
Then?
I'm just saying that they feel loved in different ways than we do.
My boyfriend and I have been living together for 1.5 years now, and he's moving out next week.
A lot of girls are calling this girl delusional. I'm not going to get into that. What I will do is recommend a book that I think will be very helpful for anyone in their 20s to read, even if you're early 30s. This book is called The Defining Decade by Meg Jay, I believe. She talks specifically about this whole phenomenon of moving in with someone that you're dating. And she debunks the myth that you all so annoyingly hold tenaciously to, the idea that your odds of staying together in marriage will be higher if you live together with the person you're dating. First of all, no, that is not true. I said it, but now there's research to back it up. Go read the book. So, Defining Decade, read it. She breaks it down really well.
I'll be back at 7. Enjoy your EC afternoon.
Wait, are you seriously just going to leave?
Yes, my schedule is set.
I haven't spoken to you all morning. Aren't you going to ask what's wrong?
Let's unpack that logic. Silence is not communication. It is an unstated test.
I just wanted to see if you cared enough to notice.
I don't participate in guessing games. I value transparent and direct communication. When you are ready to have a constructive conversation, I will be here to listen. Until then, enjoy your day.
When a man wants you, he doesn't make you beg for the bare minimum. Do you understand? There is no begging a man who wants you for commitment. When are we going to be exclusive? When are you going to propose? Get up! We're dealing with men. They should want commitment more than you. In the olden days, they were battling for your hand in marriage. They were bringing gifts to your family, begging for you. It was a competition. And now you're out here like a circus clown begging for them? No. Your biggest asset when you're dealing with men is yourself. Your presence. We know that married men make more money, live longer, and report being happier than unmarried men. You are literally a key to more money and more life. When I say women are the prize, I'm not just saying that because I came up with it yesterday. You're literally the ticket to a better life for men. So you have to know that. You can't have a poverty mindset and tie yourself to some loser who doesn't see you as the diamond you are. If a guy isn't doing what you need him to do, if he isn't leveling up and stepping up to be the man you need him to be, you walk out and you wait for the man who does step up.
If you ever notice
men praise women, they almost never praise women with standards and boundaries. Oh my God. So usually the type of women who requires nothing from them, that is who praise. Oh, she's one of the bros. She doesn't complain. Oh, she doesn't wear makeup, or she doesn't do anything. She doesn't require much. She's low maintenance. That just means it's a woman typically who doesn't have standards. She doesn't have any boundaries. Sinji always says standards, boundaries, and expectations. The woman has none of those. And that's why the man will praise it, because she allows him to just be himself, which is nothing. Just sit back. Nothing. Is not required to be a protector or provider. He's not required to man up in a patriarchy. He can just sit on his, he can pretend and lie and say he's doing those things, but in real life behind closed doors, he doesn't have to, because she doesn't require anything from him. And so women that they will praise.
I've heard foreigner men not understand why American men want women to help them pay with the bills, and they're used to leading, taking care of everything, the traditional man and all that stuff.
Yeah. So over here is a little bit different because women aren't traditional. So then the man is like, well, why should I be a traditional man? If you're not traditional, you're posting booty pics, you got an OnlyFans, but you want me to protect and provide for you and pay a bulk of the bills when you got your booty cheeks up online? Nah.
So both of y'all just not traditional.
I'm saying that this woman wasn't traditional. So then the man is already socially constructed to believe in the 50-50 mindset anyway, like women empowerment. She could do it on her own. So think about it. If the feminist movement promoted woman empowerment, she can get it on her own, is not just promoting this into women, but it's promoting this to men as well, because guess what? Most men are being raised by single moms. So that single mothers instilling this into their sons. So then the sons go out saying, oh, my mom is doing it all, so I get with a woman that's doing it all too. The feminist movement not only indoctrinated women, but it indoctrinated men as well. So that's why those men are less masculine, less assertive, and less dominant. Yeah.
Okay. If he says he doesn't want to be with you, he want to be friends, and you know you want to be with him, do not be his friend just to keep him in your life. You are going to resent that man for not changing his mind, and you're going to be upset with yourself for doing all of the things that you're going to do to try to convince him to change his mind. You're going to be very, very, very upset with yourself, and you're not going to be able to blame anyone but yourself, because he told you he didn't want to be with you. He told you he just wanted to be friends, and instead of accepting that and truly, truly accepting it, you said you accepted it, but then you went ahead and auditioned and tried to convince him to change his mind. And when he didn't, you became mad at him for not saying what a great woman you are, and mad at yourself for doing all of that just to get nothing in return. I understand a lot of women are like, well, why do men say that they don't want a relationship, but they act like they do? We cannot control anyone's behavior but our own. I can't control that he's acting like he wants to be with me, but he really doesn't. What I can control, though, is whether I stay or leave. You stay there and let him play with you. You stay there and let him treat you like a girlfriend. And every other day he had to tell you, you're not my girl. You let him do that. Don't let him do that.
This is exactly the type of woman I have been warning you about. Stay far, far away. Flesh and bone. She crawled out of the gutter and into my inbox with this masterpiece while following me at the same time. You cannot make this up. Here's what she sent me. You're chopped as and you're thirsty as desperate for male attention and validation. Use some sunscreen or get some Botox. Do you even have any female friends? Because you're definitely not for the girls, stupid. That is straight out of the Bitter Single Mom Handbook. Overly edited profile pictures, lips blown up like balloons, Botox leaking out of her forehead, and she's telling me to get Botox? The delusion is off the charts. This is projection in its purest form. Angry, jealous, miserable women who cannot stand to see another woman win. She is so full of rage, she has to unload it on a stranger online. Imagine how she'll treat you. Fellas, listen closely. This is the kind of woman who will slash your tires, set your clothes on fire, punch herself in the face, then call the cops and try to get you arrested for. She doesn't need love. She needs a exorcism. This is not a red flag. This is a biohazard warning. Stay clear or she will drag you straight to with her.
It's not a flex if a man is living with you and he's paying all the bills. This is according to Professor Bay. Let her explain it to you.
It ain't nothing appealing about living with a man saying, oh, my man
the household bills, he's gonna have to pay bills to have somewhere to stay. So in reality, he's benefiting a lot more than you are with y'all living together, because women put a lot more into a household, managing a household and making sure things in that household run smoothly. To me, the amount of labor that you have to put in living with a man, no matter how good he is not worth living with him paying those household bills.
But just like he was paying bills on his own and has to do so anyway, with you or not, don't you have to take care of your own household, whether he's there or not, as well? Unless you're with a man who never did any things on his own when he lived on his own, or cooked for himself, he never cleaned for himself. And maybe I get it. I'm thinking living together, you're lightening each other's load, no?
The real flex is him giving you some money, you living in your own space, he lives in his own space, and get out your face.
I guess that is a flex, but who's doing that nowadays? In this economy?
All that spending the night, all that in your kitchen, all that cleaning up behind him, all that him asking you thousands of questions, what's for dinner, all that. The amount of work is just not worth them little couple $1,000. No.
I mean, if my bills were paid and I was in charge of stuff, I don't see that as a bad thing, especially if I don't have to work. And even if I had to work, my bills are paid. I guess it all depends on the type of man he is. Maybe I'm missing something. But what do you guys think?
The difference between a boring man and an exciting man is that a boring man will not have 2 and 3 women pregnant at the same time. That's the difference. So you call him boring because he's not running the street every single night. You call him boring because he's not chasing drama. You call him boring because he's super consistent. So let's keep it real a second on exactly what exciting means when it comes to a man. So you get late night calls from other women exposing him, asking you why your man is in their bed at 2 a.m. in the morning. You walking into places getting confronted by women that you didn't even know existed because he told them the same lies he told you. You hypersensitive over checking his phone because deep down, you know you ain't the only one and you know you just one of many. Let me break it to you. That is not excitement. That is nothing but stress and heartbreak that's dressed up like it's fun. Meanwhile, the boring man is steady and he at home in the bed. Think about it. Consistency is what keeps a roof over his head and maybe yours. And always understand stability is what raises kids. It builds futures and keeps a happy home. And most of all, let's talk about peace. That's simply priceless. Let's be clear. Stability in a boring man, he's not going to leave you crying after you have a baby. He's the one that's going to build structure and not stress. Because all money spends green, you will understand after the excitement fades, you'll understand that peace is everything in a boring man. So if that chaos and drama still excites you, I'm going to keep it real with you. That means that you are immature and you're definitely not built to be a wife.
Guys need to start approaching girls again in the bar because we want to be approached. At the end of the day, like, you should be able to read body language and figure out like which girl wants to be approached. I feel like that's a main reason why girls go to the bar is to hang out with her friends and talk to guys. I like actually hate being like a couple hours into the bar and just seeing guys just duoed up, paired up, like they're still in their groups. Literally, it's like you could have like just all done this in your house. You didn't have to drive all the way out to the bar to just stand in a circle with your friends. Men are just standing at the bar, just fucking watching the game on the TV, and it's like, leave. Why the are you here if you're not gonna make a move? Well, also my question is, if you're not gonna make the moves out when you are drunk and with your friends, when are you gonna do it? Why would you make the moves at the grocery store when you're alone and sober? It's so much more intimidating out there because you're probably gonna get rejected because I'm out there getting some bread and milk, and now I'm like scared that you just approached me. But I'm at the bar and I have a drink in me and I'm being social with my friends. Yeah, I'm gonna be more accepting of a conversation with you out at the bar. Read body language, understand who's there to meet people and who isn't, and you're good.
And modern women will continue to complain about, well, how come a man doesn't approach? Well, back when we used to approach you, you know, just to go do it, because that's the way that things were. I could say hi, and you might look at your friend and be like, "Ooh, is he coming over here? Oh, I don't know, girl." And you know, you kind of get a little bit giggly, and say, "Okay, that's a good sign." Even if he's nervous, okay, that's a good sign. But if that turns from being giggly or apprehensive, but still, even if you're apprehensive, you're turning your body towards him and saying, "Okay, let's see how this goes." You know, and even being polite, if you know you already know that you don't like him, that turns from doing all of that to turning your nose up at him, turning your face away, being rude, not treating them as a human, thinking that you can thumbs up or thumbs down somebody. Who are you?